Okay, we're ready to get going again. We have a nice crowd of open mic readers tonight, so we better get cracking. To start us off, I want to read a poem by Jack Prelutsky. Anybody familiar with Jack Prelutsky? Good, because he's a poet for children, but more adults should know him. And he was the first U.S. children's poet laureate, and he's a Seattleite. Bainbridge and Queen Anne. Anyway, this is a poem of his. I have to write a poem for class. I have to write a poem for class, but don't think I'll succeed. I know I don't know all the words that I'm going to need. I cannot quite imagine how my poem's supposed to be. I've got a sinking feeling I'm not good at poetry. My poem must have a meter, and it also has to rhyme. It's due tomorrow morning. How I wish I had more time. I do not think that I can write a poem the way I should. But look, this is a poem right here. And I think it's pretty good. So our question of the month is, what is your favorite city? And our first reader tonight, his favorite city is Rochester, Pennsylvania. Roy Kindleberger.
It's north of Pittsburgh. It's where I go there every summer to visit my grandparents. The first poem is a tanka. Moss-covered roof of an abandoned home. 8 years. A kitten, now a cat, sits on the back porch. The old barn surprise. Cassie stares at the old barn. She heard it was once full of horses. The barn's door hangs on its hinges. The peeling sides need painted. She steps carefully forward and back. A field of dandelions dance. Something streaks across the barnyard. Startled, Cassie holds hands to her face. A soft wind blows through the maples. Cassie creeps toward the ferns. A tiny kitten, whiskers twitch, a soft meow. Cassie carefully scoops up the orphan. She stares, pets it softly. Soft purr. Cassie checks Grandpa's old watch. The morning sun brushes away clouds. The old barn shimmers and shudders. Cassie picks up the kitten, walks, and sits on an old haystack. The kitten softly purrs, falls asleep. Cassie silently names it. Thanks.
Do we have our technology ready to go? Okay, our next reader's favorite city is Steilacoom, Washington. Adina Hicks.
The palette of love colors my world, the world that is so beautiful and alive around me, painted with the memory of your smile and the measure of your love. The hues that I see are tempered with an infinite joy and an intenseness of our love. Never before have I lived in an expression of love so complete, so all-consuming. The music of the universe resounds in our love. I hear it in the heights of our joy and in the depths of our sorrows. I hear it in the song of the birds outside my window, the breeze as it rustles the leaves, in your voice, in your silence. My heart and soul sing to me of the love that I have for you. Every second of every day is filled with the music and the color of you. With my last living breath, I will kiss your lips and return to you the sweet and loving life you have given me. The last light that I see in this mortal world will be the light in your eyes, looking at me with love. With my last strength, I will hold you to give you the strength you need to carry on. My last words will be, I love you. You ask, how do I know I love you? I know I love you with every breath that I take, with every sight that I see, with every touch, every sound. I know deep in my soul that this is the love of a lifetime, that no chains can bind, no boundaries can contain, for it is love. Fight it if you can, but the universe keeps the constant reminders there, the colors, the moods, the music. Fight it if you can, but you cannot win, for ration is not for the matters of the heart. Your mind cannot overcome what you know in your heart to be true. Your soul is deeply entwined with the one you know to be your mate. Your eyes betray you. Your body confesses your desire. It is love, your curse, and your blessing. I have no choice except to wait, for there is no choice but you. I have no doubt that you love me. I see it in your eyes. I feel it in your touch. I hear it in your voice. You do not say the words, and yet clearly I experience the feeling. It is my curse and my blessing. It is love. Yeah, one more. If you could see through my eyes, you would see the strong, loving man I know you to be. If I could see through your eyes, I would see the beauty and the love you see when you look at me. If you could feel what I'm feeling now, you would feel the longing, the ache to feel your touch. If I could feel what you are feeling now, I would sense the hollowness in your chest, reminding you to breathe, to be closer to me. It is love, as painful as it is exquisite. How else could you explain the emptiness of the soul when we are apart? How else does one explain the heaviness, the labor to breathe when we are separated from one another? It can only be that we are meant to be not apart, but a whole together, like the wind and the sea, the moon and the stars, the sun and the sky. There are times when the wind dies on the sea. The night is without a sun. The night is without a moon. The sun is hidden in the sky. It is then that the ships languish on the water, unable to move, except cast about at the mercy of the current. It is then that the night is black, and no path can be seen or followed. So one stumbles blindly through the night. It is then that the cold grips the day, and there is no way to find direction, no way to determine time. That is what it is like to be separated from you. That is why I know I love you. For when we are together, the wind moves us toward our destination. The light leads us through the darkness. The sun shines its warmth and envelops our souls. That's what it is like to love you.
This is Adina's first time reading at SoulFood, so thank you, Adina. Our next reader's favorite city, this is I really like it, Cozumel, Mexico. Would that be nice to visit? Kate Sherman. First time here too.
So the goal of these was to try and tell basically the arc of a relationship. We kiss, blissfully close to one another, another and another, again and against the wall. I'm willing you to please tease. I shout these words between our lips, hips. on the tips of our tongues, in our own language, in the secret silent syllables, the sibilant hiss of breath as we kiss. I can't take this much longer. As you linger, finger tracing my jaw, I am in awe, awfully close to over my head. The crowning glory is, this is the start of the story. Let's begin. I want to do hard things to you, softly in the dark, the silence ringing, singing in our skin as we begin to come closer to what we want to be and where, approaching there, just there, is just enough time for us to climb this mountaintop, stop, start again. Our hands began to make love. Delicately, they danced. Together in the sunlight, softly bright, our breathing just right as they danced. Resonant and rich, the silent sound that bound them, one against the other, while they danced. We, the awe-pinned audience, eyes opened wide as we watched. Our hands began to make love. Fingers intertwined, this moment is underlined and bold, and I will hold it tightly and rightly so. I won't forget. Say you'll stay, lay with me a little longer, and lie. Tell me we can try to deny the time and you'll stay. I have long since stopped believing that you will not be leaving, but please, baby, please keep on deceiving me. Hold me. Just that little bit closer, hold me tight so that I just might pretend that this moment will not end. Lend me your ear and hear me say, stay. And you'll whisper, okay. And we'll pass the day this way, just laying, just lying together in love. I don't know what to say. I clench my teeth and bite down hard on this silence. Since when is this what we do? Do you even know or care? I mean, where exactly is this supposed to go? Nowhere good. Of that I'm sure. This silence is a cure for absolutely nothing. And yet, here I sit with my teeth set. While the words boil in my mind, I find my tongue is still as death. An unfortunately apt metaphor, for isn't communication at the core of a living, breathing relationship? But the words still sit, still on the tip of my tongue. I'm on the verge of giving in to the urge to speak, but I'm too afraid of the havoc my words may wreak. I'm just too weak. The silence saps my strength evermore as the length of it grows. I know the strain surely shows. I know you see it. So, what now? Will you bite at the bait, or will you just wait and see? The words wriggle and writhe, striving to be free, but I can't see a way. Sometimes labels and lies are all that stand between us and goodbyes, and we cling to them. We would rather be blind. We would rather rewind back to the time when the should have beens could have been. We refuse to see that they are now the never will be's, because that would mean goodbye. We turn with scorn away from our mourning, forming walls not quite as tall as the hurt we try to hide behind them. And when we find them insufficient, we collapse under the weight of goodbye. We're waiting, never quite sating our desire for certainty. We still can't see that it will never come, not even someday. Long after the goodbyes have passed us by, we won't be without a doubt. Nevertheless, we must do our best to face the now, to see what is, what isn't, and what never will be, and maybe say goodbye.
Thank you, Kate. We go from Cozumel to Switzerland and the city of Basel, and welcome, please, Erica Michael.
This poem is called Floating World, which refers to the prints made by Japanese printmakers in the 19th century. They were called Floating World because they were sent from Japan all over, well, mainly to Europe actually, in the form of wrapping paper for pottery. But they were so valued by the Impressionists that they influenced them, and they were used by them to create their Impressionist works, new forms of art. So, Floating World. Brackett's Landing on a summer afternoon, issued on paper of turquoise and orange. Seaside waiters weave among old pilings, black against a shallow glitter play of mud flats at low tide, licked by white water wavelets. A slice of Edmund's waterfront, floating world, worthy of Hokusai or Hiroshige. No Mount Fuji here, but to the west, the ragged crests of the Olympics, looking north, Mount Baker, to the south, Rainier, climbed 30 years ago by our 4 sons, scaling and rappelling on a single rope. Tiny creatures against glacial crags, yet huge in heart. Myriad scenes frame the screens of our lives in this timbered land. We locals waited for the sun's long rays to set on a lazy split of strand, or for the boat to reach the 100-year-old pier whose legs creak like mine, or for the waterfront cafe to summon early diners on the deck where briny gulls scat and squawk over unfurled green umbrellas, chilled wine, and loganberry pie. That was our world, hazy and clear, to reprise in endless impressions. These poems were composed for a collection that I'm working on about my husband, who passed away 2.5 years ago. And so I'll read one more. Even today, the day doesn't start without you. My tattered neurons keep flickering replays of our morning nuzzles, the pungent drift of fresh brew, oatmeal, and newsprint on the stoop with birdsong. A life-stunned cycle of our twinned core, nurtured by wild display through our kitchen window. Each last version of our garden's sanctuary, pregnant with flutterings that rise like floriated photons from salal, kinnikinick, cotoneasta, strawberry, and the prayer bells of Solomon's seal. The dappled ground treasure of our green feather bed. You enter the boudoir with the spirit of a cock's wattled crowing. Hi, baby, time to get up. Half the day is gone.
And Erica, I think this is your first time reading here at SoulFood too, isn't it? So another first timer. And so is our next reader, Brandon Pitts, and his favorite city, which this one stumped me. Where is Siem Reap? Cambodia. Ah, okay, all right. Brandon Pitts.
Hi. How long do I have? 2 or 3 minutes. Okay. This is about the male urge. Beware of the drubby that wanders the cornfields at night, steals the souls of sleepers and drives them back to a time where men ate raw meat and gnawed on dirt-covered roots, tore at women with a brute fang, proof of a love that a man can feel. Jim, why'd you do that evil deal out in the woods where only the frogs heard poor Delilah cry? Hey, Jim, can you tell me why? For that devil takes you and casts you back upon the wheel where Legba presides over the cycle of reason to purge your ordeal. In the lesson of transformations where I sat on the wet nurse's lap, she sang songs about the old times in that far-off land where cracked hands beat spells upon drums, and how to sell your soul to the drubby out on Highway 61. When he taps you on the shoulder, take the deal, don't look back, and the grimoire will reveal its secrets even to those who can't understand. But it was dropping hail when I came to the crossroads of my life, down in Beauregard, Mississippi, out on Route 49. So I gwan through the thistle patch, a contract in my hand, drew a circle in the cornfield where they go and see the drubby man. Hey, Jim, why you laid down your plow? Hey, Jim, left your woman to fend for the sow. Jimbo gone to revel in the city swell, stop steal peaches and asleep in the hay. They will find you, Jimbo, find you one day. But tonight you'll hop a freight train and dream of new lands where money and women come to a man with the strength of dreams and the mind to foretell. But there'll be no more wishes from the drubby's secret well. And this was the prophecy that the angel foretold. A mannish boy would be born on the eve Delilah went cold.
Thank you. And now we go from Cambodia to Hong Kong. We're very lucky to have Del Gustafson read for us tonight. And Del, this might be your first time reading at SoulFood too? A lot of first-timers tonight. Well, Del.
Well, this one is called Morning Surprise. I usually yell and don't need this, but us poor ranchers in the hills were suffering the ills of a long, cold winter in the cattle market down. Spring cow work was done, and I was looking for some fun. That might lift my spirits, so I headed into town. The room I found was cheap. The old motel was a heap, but I really didn't have a lot of cash to spend. In truth, I was thinking, after a long, hard night of drinking, a cowboy needs a bed to sleep so that he can mend. I could walk right to the bar. It really wasn't far, where I got a sample of the local bar scene's fare. I bellied up to the bar as a gent on a guitar, played country music to amuse folks drinking there. The ladies there were jaded, beauties that had faded, far less attractive than this cowboy had ever feared. But now my burning hunger made those girls seem much younger as the many hours passed and the hour of closing neared. Then a lady who seemed sweet, lovely, and petite climbed upon the empty bar stool right next to mine. So very plain to see, she was interested in me. So I turned to her and started feeding her my line. I turned on my charm, she was hanging on my arm, and I romanced her with the whiskey flowing free. She hung on my every word, though they were often slurred. I asked if she'd like to leave with me. She coyly pondered for a while, but then I saw her smile. Then she took my hand to lead me through the door. Then at my rented place in my passionate embrace, swooned, I've never done a thing like this before. My drunken slumber was deep, but I woke from my sleep by soft snoring coming from beneath the cotton sheet. I thought I couldn't miss with an early morning kiss, but I never imagined the sight that I would meet. Seeing her time-worn face, makeup smeared but still a trace, her tangled, drool-soaked hair was a disturbing sight. Opening her eyes, mouth gaping wide in her surprise, screamed, "Where's that handsome cowboy I was with last night?" Well, do I have time for another short one? I call this one New Boots. An old cowboy wandered in the store, walked past the hats and suits, straight to the shoe department and was looking at the boots. "They don't make them the way they used to. They were better in my day, with fancy hand-stitched leather tops," I heard the old man say. "When my old boots got worn out, I'd make a trip to town, and never seemed to matter if I bought black or russet brown. I'd wear them boots out on the town, hoping to meet a college girl. When I found one I liked, I'd give that gal a whirl. I could do the Texas two-step, and my fancy steps were light. And when I took that lady home, I'd always spend the night. The quality of these new cowboy boots has me close to tears. I ain't bought boots that worked in damn near 40 years.
I want last lines like yours. Our next reader is Ken Osborne. Is this your first time reading at SoulFood too? No, I wasn't sure about that. And he's listed Redmond as his favorite city. Ken Osborne.
Great place. Has anybody been there? I didn't know this was an anniversary, but I've been sitting on this, hoping to read it here for some time. You can guess the title. Is it the guitars on the wall, or the walls on the guitar? The ever-changing gallery, scrolls of wise sayings, tarot readings, Indian headdresses, gemstones and jewellery, or just the mind-altering latte? Reclined on the sagging settee beneath a coffee-sack sky, rhythmic music thrums, mysticism leaks from cliffs of books painted with skylight shafts, softly serenaded by fountain song. Beneath an open-mouthed clown, the barista bangs out the grounds. The steamer screams, crockery clashes. But nothing can unrelax this place. An upside-down camera stares at the small curved platform, where a microphone stands wide-eared, searching beyond the sweet, bitter perfumes of coffee and incense for the whiff of music or poetry, the tang of drums percussed by, guitars caressed by, fidgeting hands. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Ken. We have another reader who is not a first-time reader, and that is Mary Crane, and her favorite city is Dublin.
I wasn't going to read this tonight, but we have kind of a love theme going on. It's called Peanut Butter Sandwiches. You can't live on love and peanut butter sandwiches, my mother sneered when I was young, shamelessly and stupidly in love. I didn't need much: a cheap apartment, a used bed, a puppy, iron pills and eggs and bread, It didn't work out so well, but eventually I acquired better taste in men and fell in love again and again and again. With the touch and taste and smells of flesh on flesh melting down to bone, with frail and weighty human hearts reaching blindly through the night for one another's fingers in the cold. Sheltered by a granite boulder on a wind-swept mountaintop, we ate peanut butter sandwiches beneath gray-skied solitude forever. In the morning long ago, we stood on firmer ground, stretched through mountain creeks, moss and birch and pine, to hear where one strong gust could take us down. Breath caught by our racing hearts, above the world here too, we knew that this was love. Sit by rivers swollen from the rain, eyes captured by the sight of a heron in her roost or sudden flash of an eagle taking flight. Drink up the scent of moldy wood, listen very close. Hear the sound of river rock shifting over salmon roe waiting to be born. Lay awake before the dawn, hear the owls call. Stars light up the darkened skies. No, this too is love. I still enjoy a good peanut butter sandwich, open-faced and toasted, topped with honey, melting, running down the sides, licking sweetness from my fingers, very much like everything I love. I believe this next poem was my SoulFood poem when I read here, I don't know, December one year or several years ago. It's called Abundance. 10 degrees this morning, inching downward, slivered waning moon hanging high in the southeast sky. Standing still in baggy old pajamas, arms filled up with wood, gaping at the heavens bright with stars. Light comes on, waking slowly. Branches form against a dark blue sky, closing in with warm embrace. Fingers holding eggs, arms bearing pumpkin, onion, garlic. Wispy clouds hold a gaze to the horizon. Quiet, no birds in the deep chill. 2 fawns by the frozen pond seeking water fat and healthy. Midday sun angles low against a cold, dry earth. Ruddy cheeks turn up toward deep red hawthorn, star-white snowberry, rich orange rose. Beans simmer on the wood stove. Pumpkin in the oven for a warm pie on a cold winter night. Frozen cabbage sliced and salted, fermenting in the kitchen, packed in jars. Pink skies closing in, faint day darkens, cold dropping like a rock. One last armload full of wood, wide eyes skyward counting stars. Hope your day was lovely, snow swirling all around you, cold air crisp upon your face, clear deep within your lungs. Stay warm tonight. I'll be under 7 blankets, wool socks, 4 pillows, and a book. Sleep well, except for counting stars. I will. Thank you.
Thank you, Mary. We go from Dublin to Ashford. Chris Case is our next reader. Oh, there you are. Is this Ashford, Connecticut? Ashford, Washington. Okay. I'm not sure I know where that is. Anybody know? Where is Ashford?
It's on the way out to Nisqually.
Ah, okay. Chris Case.
All right, so this poem came to me through a vision, and this is kind of what came from it. In the dark, alone and misled, following words from afar, unaware of the source, yet understanding the validity of the message. Cast between realms of reality, seeing those in the dark and those of light. Unable to cast away the darkness, trapped in purgatory on earth. Day after day, a miserable existence controlled by shadows exploiting the weak. Darkness spreading like cancer, evolving over time to survive. Filling minds with propaganda, biased views, and selective knowledge. Oppressing the strong-willed, inciting fear, and holding the masses from the light. Evil, small in number, controlling the majority using fear tactics. From the heavens a light is shining, a brighter sun radiating new life to a damaged earth. Celestial events affecting fields on earth, propagating change. Cyclic celestial events, routine as cesium decay known, yet withheld by the keepers of truth. Time passes, humanity devolving into darkness, unaware of truth and light. A light is now in our horizon. A world of love and paradise is achievable once again. Few see all above and below, a light burning bright, shining on those in the dark, enlightening those with a path to the light. Lighting the darkest points of earth, killing cancer with love. Raised vibrational energies of light and love reverberating into darkness. Exponentially light-consuming darkness until balance is restored on earth. From darkness to the iron age of spirituality, progressing collectively as a species, not as individuals. What would you do to preserve our planet and life as we know it? Sacrifices of modern life are inevitable, yet pale in comparison to the alternatives. Those in the dark struggle with drastic changes in life. Those of light and love embracing those in need. Once again, love will rule over fear and the evil hiding in the shadows. Meditate, pray, seek truth, and be concerned with world events. Amplify intentions of love, radiate love into dark roots of fear plaguing the world. Love those as you want to be loved, for love is the key to ascension into light and out of the dark.
Our next reader is Renee Tittlebaum, and her city is Bern, Switzerland. And I'll bet there's a story behind everybody's choice of city. I wonder what Renee's story is. Renee.
Also a first-time reader. And now I need to write a poem about Bern. All right, since it's an anniversary, I went with a very old poem that still speaks to me. The waves are alive, not merely personified, but real, living. I know because I had a conversation with them. Some were shy and would not extend to me their crest. Some were flirtatious and lapped at my ankles and my jeans cuffs. Some were bold and tried to overtake me, and from those I ran away, past the rocks to the soft sand on the dry beach. My friends, the rocks are a poetic bunch, calm, smooth, and serene. They do not fight you. They are a clan-like creature and stay together along the shoreline, speckling the beach, laid out like a garden growing from the seeds sprinkled in the wind. They are smooth and soft from their years of friendship with the waves. Their history is lost. Origin will never be known. Taken from somewhere, sometime, and deposited on these shores. Are they quiet because they are content, or are they merely lost and confused, clinging to the stillness of the beach when they land there, giving in to the impulses of the wave when they are held in his grip? Are little rocks jealous of big rocks for their weight and their solidity? Are the big rocks jealous of the little ones for their lightness, which gives them freedom and movement? How does the sand feel when it's touched by a rock, reminded of its previous state years ago? The friendship of seeing a cousin, the pride of an older sibling, the jealousy of a younger one? If the waves are alive and not just personified, does each one die as the last of its wake laps against the beach? Does it die after the crash of the wave is made, the sound waves reaching out for all to hear? Or is each physical wave the body for an amorphous soul in the water, one huge soul, parts of which exist for seconds and then die away, the physical wave gone, but the soul still existing in the whole of the ocean? Is that how God works? God is no omnipotent being hanging above us with a higher plan and higher knowledge. God is the ocean of soul from which we all come. We are waves, each given our few seconds in time to have our physical presence and make our crashing sounds. And then we melt back into the ocean, our one individual soul having lived its full life. Now our soul has dissolved into the whole ocean, this one complete being never to be together again. Just parts of our water mixed with parts of others, creating new lives, creating new waves. Maybe.
Thank you, Renee. We have one more reader tonight, but before we get to that, I want to do some advertising. I wanted to let you know about the next Redmond Association of Spoken Word event, which will be on Friday, July 31st, and that will feature Colleen Squire. And at RASP, we have a mix of fiction, nonfiction, and poetry readers. We're doing something very different this time that we've never done before, and that's we're having a storyteller. So come hear a storyteller, and we also have the open mic, and that's the Redmond Association of Spoken Word. You can look for raspread.com online. It meets at the Old Redmond Schoolhouse Community Center, usually on the last Friday of every month. There are some exceptions, though. So Colleen Squire on July 31st. And our next readers here at SoulFood, coming up on August 20, are Diane April and Ann Teplick. So please come back here a month from now for that reading and bring your poems for the open mic. Our last reader tonight is Nick Conrad, and I think there's a story behind his favorite city. How many of you have been to Winterfell? Tell us about Winterfell.
Thank you. I actually do have a story behind my choice of city. Winterfell. Today I name you favorite city in honor of the late Ned Stark, for whom last week, having witnessed his tragic execution at the hands of the vile false king Joffrey Lannister, I took a silent walk around my living room and waited nearly 15 minutes before starting the next episode. Yeah, that's from Game of Thrones. And this is one I wrote a few years ago. Snow unmelted in the shadows of trees, like beds unmade, unslept are these. In the still shade of winter's late afternoon, it was early morning, a wedding, a moon, a birth, a death, the newness of age and ancients' fresh green country blades, a youth and young maiden in secret wed, their union forbidden, guilt-ridden they fled. Ever delicate springtime has come into sight, left behind is the snow that belonged to the night. Thank you.
Thank you. And thank you to everyone. Thank you for making the choice to come here tonight. There's always too many things to choose between, but I'm glad you're here. We've had a wonderful open mic tonight. Also want to thank our two featured readers, Peggy and Terry. And thanks, of course, to Soul Food Coffee House for having us here. I'd like to end with the poem I started with. This is Praying by Mary Oliver. It doesn't have to be the blue iris. It could be weeds in a vacant lot or a few small stones. Just pay attention, then patch a few words together and don't try to make them elaborate. This isn't a contest, but a doorway into thanks and a silence in which another voice may speak. Good night.